I, I ran into Melissa in Costa Rica, and we had an opportunity to talk 2 or 3 times. And we talked a lot of our talk, Jim, was about you. How's that baby doing, by the way?
Wonderful, man. Wonderful. He's
Awesome.
he's great. So
But I just appreciate being asked. I do a lot of calls outside of my agency, which I like to do because I like to see how other people operate, how other people run their business. I pick up things from other agencies that'll help me grow. So I appreciate being here. We'll talk about whatever you want to talk about today. Okay.
right. Works for us. So Danny, I don't know, give these individuals a little bit about your background and kind of, your ultimate reason why you're here at Symmetry.
I'll be glad to, man. I have been in the insurance business for 37 years. I was 21 years with a company called Primerica, which most people have heard of. And if you know anything about Primerica, you know that's an awful long time to be with them. They have no leads, and yet they built an agency of 200,000 agents at one time, writing 25,000 apps a week with no leads. I was there, but it was all warm market. It was all, friends and family, or knocking on doors, beating the bushes, whatever. But I had the only real job I've ever had, Jim, was I worked at Exxon Refinery down here in Baton Rouge. I went there so I could get married. I was 22 years old. I had no degree. I had no job, and I had a wedding date. And a future father-in-law was a deputy sheriff, and he looked at me really funny every time I'd go to his house. But I was a white-collar kid. Both of my parents were career school teachers. But I peaked in high school. I loved every single day of high school. I went to LSU and walked around for 3 years, and I hated every single day out there. And so I walked home one day and never went back, and wound up with a wedding date and no job. So I applied it was still, believe it or not, some of y'all are old enough to remember the word SO. It was still SO when I applied. But my plan was, and I got hired. My plan was to go there and be there 90 days max. And then a real white collar job would come along because I was a white collar kid. And I stayed 16 years because I went to work at Exxon on a Monday. We got married the following Saturday. We had 2 kids before we knew where kids came from. And then it was just debt from that point on. And the sad thing is I went from, this is 1969. Most of y'all can't even fathom somebody alive in 1969. Okay. But I went there thinking that I'd be there a short period of time. I stayed 16 years, but I made $12,750 my first year at Exxon in 1970. $12,750, which was more money than my daddy made that year teaching school in his 20th year with a master's plus 30, whatever that is. And so my daddy got his PhD in education when he was in his 50s. And for doing that, for getting that PhD, he got a $275 a year raise. And so he was a career school teacher. He taught school 32 years, 5th grade, 32 years. I made more money my first year at SO than he made in his 20th year teaching school. So the word got out that Danny had a good job. Now, in my 16 years, I went from being a process apprentice to being a shift supervisor. I went from hourly to salaried. And in my 15th year, I made $49,400 as a shift supervisor. Now, look, this is 1982, maybe something like that. I couldn't figure out how my parents raised 5 kids on 21,000 max. Best year ever, 21,000. And here I am a generation later, and I can't raise 2 kids on $49,000. It was just a mystery to me. And I found out later it's because I had 2 kids, one of them being a girl. Anybody got girls? See, girls are like having a hole in the floor that you just shovel money into, okay? A boy he'll wear anything, stripes and flats. He don't care. Girls, no, they're not like that. They're different. So I wound up in 1984 making $49,400 a year, 2 kids in private school, which is really the thing that was a tipping point for us. And I needed to make more money. Now, the problem was my resume said I'm a shift worker, 16 years of experience as a shift worker. You can't get a job anywhere other than a plant doing that with that kind of resume. And so I wound up, I had a younger brother who went to a Primerica meeting, called me, because I'm going to tell you, one of the things that I want y'all to understand today is that your life, your entire life can change in one moment. One sentence from one person, change your entire life, change the trajectory of everything you've seen up until that point. That's why you got to be aware, you got to be awake, you got to pay attention. And so my brother went to this meeting and he called me jacked out of his gourd. He was so excited. And he said about 1,000 words in about 3 minutes. And I only heard 2 of them. I heard life insurance. And I said, please, 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 think about your family like me. You're going to lose all your friends when they find out you're in the insurance business. I'm going to lose all my friends when they find out I got a brother in the insurance business. So please don't do this. But he was so excited about it that I said, look, apparently he had a master's degree in history, believe it or not, and which qualified him to be a terminal manager for a truck line here in Baton Rouge. But I said, apparently your master's degree didn't make you smart enough to find the gotcha in this, because it can't be as good as you're saying. So I'm going to go to this meeting with you and I'm going to find the gotcha for you, because I'm a shift supervisor of one of the biggest companies in the world. I'll find it for you. So, you know, I'm 37 years old at the time. I didn't own a tie, by the way. I was really suave. Didn't own a tie. And I go to this meeting. And there's 3 people do this meeting. One guy did who they were, one guy did what they did, and the third guy did how they got paid. And that third guy said one sentence, 7 words, changed my life. He said, and this guy was sharp. He was probably a couple of years older than me, maybe, but sharp as a tack, suit, tie. I mean, just looked awesome. And he said, 6 years ago, I was a welder. And I thought my brain was going to explode, because see, I worked at Exxon. I wrote permits for welders. This guy didn't look like any welder I'd ever seen in my life. And I left that meeting, what they did made sense to me, but I left that meeting thinking, I want to be like that guy. I want to be like him. And so I went to work with Primerica part-time just to make $500 a month so we could pay tuition. And the fact that I despised insurance, I despised sales of any kind. In spite of all that, it was more important for us to keep our kids in private school than it was for me to worry about insurance or whether or not I could do this or whatever. So I went there to make $500 a month. I wound up making $21,000 my first year part-time, which was just life-changing for us, okay? Then, after 13 months with Primerica, it made sense to me to go ahead and quit my $49,000 a year job with benefits to work full-time with my $21,000 a year job with no benefits. Made sense to me. Now, it didn't really make sense to Sandy, but Sandy never flinched. And so I resigned on Friday the 13th of September, 1985. Best business decision I ever made. Changed my life forever. But see, most people wouldn't make that decision. Most people need that salary. They need that check, okay? And a salary, to me, a salary is just the medicine they give you to make you forget your dreams. That's what a salary is. So I was with them 21 years. In my 21st year there, I made $200,000, which is better than $49,000. But here's the problem. I was 59 years old at that time. And some of y'all don't know this yet because you're not old enough, but there's a difference between being 35 and being 59, okay? It's called energy. 35-year-olds have it, 59-year-olds don't. And I realized one day that if I wanted to make $200,000 in 2007, I was going to have to do at least as much as I did in 2006 and probably more. And 59-year-olds don't have more. But see, I'm a firm believer that things happen for a reason. And about 2 weeks after I had that epiphany, a guy called me, guy in Primerica, young guy, 25 years old. He sent me a link to a company that was in the mortgage protection business. I never heard of mortgage protection. I'm in the insurance business 21 years. I never heard of it. Didn't know it existed. And I went to this link and looked at it, and I was fine with what they did. It wasn't Symmetry. But what I needed to see was I needed to see somebody 59 years old making $200,000 doing that. And so I jumped in a car with this guy, and we drove from Baton Rouge to Raleigh, North Carolina, which for some reason I thought was 5 or 6 hours. It turned out to be 15 hours. And they had a day and a half conference. And here's what I saw at that conference. 3 things. Number one, I saw that it was started, it's 2006 now. It was started in 2002 by 3 people. 2 of those people were ex-Primerica people, successful Primerica people. So that gave me a level of comfort. The second thing I saw was that they had something in the insurance business called a lead. There were people that asked an insurance person to come to their home. This was totally foreign to me. I didn't understand why everybody wasn't just jumping up and down and cheering. I'm about to die. This is so exciting for me. And the third thing I saw was they had probably 800 people at this conference, and at least half of them are over 45 years old. I was fired up. So I came home. I resigned from my $200,000 a year gig, and I signed up with this company and in mortgage protection. Now, here was my plan. I've always got a plan. See, I had a plan when I went to Exxon. I was going to be there 90 days. I stayed 16 years. Well, I had a plan here. I was gonna go work for them. I was gonna get leads. I was gonna make dials, set appointments, run appointments, write apps, get paid. That's what I was gonna do. I was never, ever gonna recruit another person as long as I live, because I had seen so many people come and go in Primerica. I'd seen so many people quit. I got to the point where I could look at somebody, a new person, and tell they were gonna quit. So that's what I did for 3 months. And see, that's the IMO that Brandon and Casey came from. That's where I met them. We became really good friends. All 3 of us, matter of fact, were direct to the same guy. Now, I was 59. My upline was 25. $1 million income earner. So that's my plan. I'm not gonna recruit anybody. I'm just gonna go out there and get leads and stuff. And I did that. My first month was October of 2006. I did 14,000 something in premium by myself. Then I did 16,000 by myself in November. And in December, I did 21,000 by myself. And that's when I realized mortgage protection was a different animal, because in Primerica, nobody bought anything in December, and all you people quit, and you started over every January, it seemed like. So it all changed for me, just like it can change for you. It changed for me in one day. Actually, it was probably 3 days. I got a call from a guy, and he used to be in Primerica, found out I left, wanted me to come do some kind of deal they were doing, showing people how to pay their house off 13 years early, and all they had to do was buy a $1,200 CD or something, show them how to do it. I went and met with these 2 guys. He brought a friend with him. So it was 2 guys showing me this deal. And I said, look, they unleashed this 3-ring binder. The rings were like 5 inches. This thing was gigantic. And we're at a restaurant, and it's got about 30 CDs in it. And I told him, I said, stop. I don't know what this is, but you do know we live in Louisiana, okay? I mean, we are last in anything you want to measure, from education to whatever. Well, Mississippi keeps us from being last, but we're second to last at everything. I said, whatever this is, it's too complicated. It's too complicated. I showed him a lead sheet, which is all I had with me. And I left that restaurant with 2 recruits, simply because my thing was better than their thing. Next day, I run into a guy outside a coffee shop, and I'm telling you this because I got a very important point to this. The next day, because I'm talking about how your life can change on a dime. My upline called me and said, meet me at this coffee shop. And I said, no, because I don't drink coffee. And I don't like coffee shops because they're loud. They always got some big guy in there with his earbuds in, and he wants everybody to hear his conversation. So I avoid coffee shops. So I told him I wasn't going. And I hang up, and Sandy asked me who that was. That's Jeremy. She said, what do you want? He wanted me to meet him at a coffee shop. I ain't going. She said, yeah, you're going. He's your upline. You're going. I said, I don't like coffee. She said, you're going. I said, okay. So I went, and outside this coffee shop on his phone was a guy I hadn't seen in 3 or 4 years. I said hi to him, went inside the coffee shop, spent 5 minutes with Jeremy, made some excuse that I had to leave, and I got up to go, and the guy from outside was sitting in a booth, and I slid in the booth, and the guy said, are you still with Primerica? I said, as a matter of fact, I'm not. He said, what are you doing? And I told him the little bit I knew, I told him. He said, you think I could make $1,000 a month working with you part-time? See, I'm a hell of a recruiter. You notice that? I just lured him right in. He said, see, because here's the deal. He had a need. He had a 16-year-old daughter who was in Catholic school, and he's paying $1,400 a month for this child to go to high school. and he needed to make more money. He was in outside sales, 42 years old, sharp as a tack. So he said, do you think I can make $1,000 a month working with you part-time? I said, I don't know. Let's see. This guy had to go back and get his license. He had let his license lapse. It took him 6 weeks to get his license. In that 6-week period, he brought me 36 people. He recruited a friend of his in Sacramento, California. She recruited a friend of hers in Oklahoma City. He recruited a friend of his in Oklahoma City. He recruited a friend of his in Tulsa, Oklahoma, named Tom Chisholm. Tom Chisholm recruited Ashley Tarr. Ashley Tarr recruited Sarah Pappas. So at a random meeting outside a coffee shop that I did not want to go to, that Sandy Young made me go to, I found a guy who, here we are 14 years later, was responsible for 16 million of our 20 million in premium last year. One guy. One guy. See, it doesn't take 1,000. You get one or two of the right kind of people here, and you can build a dynasty. And that's not going to change. And we've never, ever in the history of this company had a time where we had so many people available as clients and so many people available as recruits, ever. And we got to take advantage of that. So look, this is the last part of this way too long story. Okay, Jim, I apologize for that. Your baby probably had a birthday before I started, about the time I started. But look, I was there 7 years. In 7 years at that other IMO, doing exactly what Symmetry was doing, I built an agency of about 45, 50 agents writing business every month, doing about 260,000 a month in premium. I was making about 260, all of it passive. I ran appointments for 4 years. The last 3 years, I just recruited, trained, coached, got, talk people down off the bridge and stuff like that. Just a group trying to grow my agency. So 45, 50 writers, 250, 260,000 a month after 7 years. Now I've been here 7.5 years. And in 7.5 years, we've built something where we average about 280 writers a month. We average probably 1.8 million in premium. And I tell you that to tell you this, I didn't get that much better from that other IMO to here. Symmetry is better. The leadership is better. Ownership is incredibly better. The culture is unbelievably better. The leads are better. Everything about this company is better than where I was before. That's why that those of y'all on this call need to take advantage of this, because look, this thing's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard for y'all because none of us come here. Nobody comes here totally prepared for this. It's a different animal. And I don't care where you came from. If you came from a job, it's really gonna be a challenge because now you're the boss and you got to get you to work. And that's the hard thing for a lot of people to do, is get themselves to work. So Jim, I kind of forgot your question, but that's where we are today. Okay.
And that leads me to another question for you too, Danny, real quick is, everybody, I mean, we bring people in, where we tell them, hey, it's hard, right? I mean, it's going to be difficult. What do you do with those individuals that come to you and say, hey, Danny, I just don't know if I can do this?
Yeah, a lot of people do that. And I said, look, I know exactly how you feel. I felt the same way. A lot of people feel the same way, but here's what I know. I know that hard eliminates the weak people. I know that Marshall came here by himself. Edward came in by himself. Linwood came here by himself. I came here by myself. Everybody shows up just like you, by themselves. And for some people, more than some, most, it's too hard. And it's too hard. See, people that struggle here, people that don't make it here, it's not because they don't work hard enough. It's because they don't want enough. It's all about what you want, because what you want, look, and for new people on the call, here's the deal. There are some things, if you're going to win here, there's some things you're going to have to learn. There's some things you're going to have to accept. See, for example, the law of gravity is a law for a reason. It works that way every time. You go up on a building and you step off, you're not going up. You're going to go down every time because it's a law. Now, look, I don't know how it works. I have no idea what makes the law of gravity the law of gravity. I just know if I step off a building, I'm going down. Same thing here. You're going to have to accept some things here. One thing you're going to have to accept is that it's hard. Now, if you want to make a lot of money doing, not necessarily here, but if you want to make a lot of money, you're going to have to find something that the majority of people either need or want. And you have to be tough enough to learn that system so that you can provide it for them. And it's hard for everybody. Look, Edward didn't have a cakewalk to the top. I'm telling you, Edward scratched and clawed his way and helped other people get there with him. That's what this thing's about. But to answer your question, Jim, this is what I want my people to understand, because they've got to learn some stuff. They've got to accept some stuff. And one of the things that I try really hard, I talk about this to my people every week. Struggle is your friend. Struggle makes you stronger, not weaker. You know, if you break a bone in your arm, when that bone heals, it heals stronger than it was before you broke it. Same thing here. So if you go through a tough patch, and this is why people quit. See, a lot of people in Symmetry, a lot of people spend all their time talking about the how. See, I think y'all were supposed to have the first half of this call, Jim, was supposed to be on training, right? That's the how to do something, how to do it. I don't talk about how at all. I do a call every Sunday night, 30 minutes, 9 o'clock every Sunday night. Guys on the East Coast said, 9 o'clock, that's 10 o'clock here. I know. If you don't want to be on it, don't be on it. Okay, because you actually have to dial in to get on it. So if it's too late for your little butt, then don't get on it. That's fine. So I do a call for 30 minutes. I've done this call 5 years this month. And 5 years ago, my first call, we had 14 writers write 41 apps for the week. That was our week. Sarah Pappas wrote 7 of those 41. She was our leading writer. 5 years later, I did a call Sunday night. We had 152 writers, I think, that wrote 400 something thousand in premium. My point to this is, in 5 years, Jim, on my 30-minute Sunday night call from my master agency, I haven't mentioned training one time. I don't talk about training, because here's what I know. I know that if you take people whose, these are the people that focus, their main focus is on the how-to. You know, we got, I don't know, I've heard 30, 40, 50, 80 carriers, all have multiple products. I mean, you could spend years trying to learn all that stuff. But people whose main focus is the how to operate here. The people whose main focus is the why to have this kind of success. And the gap is much bigger than that. See, here's what I know. I know that you're going to struggle. I know that you're going to go through tough day, tough week, tough month. I know that. Happens to all of us. And I also know this is like the law of gravity. At that point, your how to will not get you through it. The only thing that'll get you through it is your why to. See, if something, let me give you an example. Anybody here say you got a 3-year-old at home today with a babysitter maybe, and you get a call. You're on this call and you get a text that says, hey, your girl fell. I think she may have broke her arm. What are you going to do? I would say you're going to leave. But the call's not over. You're going to leave. But you didn't bring it. Somebody dropped you off. You have a car. You're going to leave because you're going to get to your 3-year-old. You know why you're going to get to your 3-year-old? Because it's important. Doesn't matter what else is going on. See, until you get that in you about symmetry, it's going to be hard for you. Because, you know, we talk about, I got this guy, I got this girl, I got this guy, I got this. Look, getting somebody into symmetry is not the important thing. Getting symmetry into them is the important thing. And until you realize what you have hold of, until you understand that regardless of what you have to do here to win, to build something that's going to stay in your bloodline for generations, it's going to be tough. But it's tough for everybody. But I'm telling you why. See, if I can get somebody in, because there are people here, there are people in Symmetry, lots of them that think that they can train somebody to the top. They cannot. You can't train anybody. Look, you can't. Matter of fact, personal producer can't even, you know, you can go the whatever route that is, the wholesale route or whatever. You can go personally produce and you can get your butt up on a high contract. You can. But personal producers, I'm telling you, personal producers, and Jim, I apologize because I forgot the question already, okay? So personal producers have a long road to hoe because it's all on them. See, and it's fine starting out, but they can't get sick, they can't get tired, they can't get hurt, they can't go on vacation, they can't take time off because it's all on them. And see, this is one thing, this is another physics thing, okay? A 6-cylinder vehicle runs smoother than a 4-cylinder vehicle. A 12-cylinder car runs way smoother than a 4-cylinder car. Personal producers are in a 1-cylinder vehicle. It's called a pogo stick. If any of y'all are old enough to remember a pogo stick, you understand, you get on a pogo stick, you can go from A to B to C to D to E to F. You can go from A to Z on a pogo stick. It's going to take you forever, and the entire trip is up and down. That's the life of a personal producer. It's up and down, and it's going to be up and down forever. I don't care what kind of money you're making. But see, I got a lot of personal producers, but what I understand is that there's going to come a day when they're going to hit a wall because it's too heavy a load for it to all be on you every day. So I wanted to build. See, building is protection. Building is stability. Building is something that will last. That's why you need to recruit people. That's why you need to train people. You need to motivate people. You need to do all these things, and it's hard. Look, the people side of this thing, you can learn the product side of this thing. Everything you'll ever need to know on the product side, you can learn that in probably 90 days here. The people side, you can't learn in 90 years. There's too many different kinds of people. And we would like to build an agency with people just like us, which is silly because you wind up with a fraternity or a sorority, okay, if you got people just like you. So you got to learn to deal with a lot of people of different backgrounds, different, if you're going to build. So your why is the key to everything here. And once again, if you're not making money here, it's not because you're not doing enough, it's because you don't want enough. Not making money here is like starving to death in a grocery store. That's just silly. You're just not trying. So there's just too many ways to make money here. And all you have to do is be able to talk to people in a way that they understand. Because everybody, think about this, you can't pass a person during the day that's under 85 years old that we can't help. Not one person. You think about how many people are out there. You understand there's 87 million mortgage holders. Just one thing we do, 87 million mortgage holders. We protected as a company about 150,000 of them last year. Now, what you do is you take your calculator, you divide 150,000 by 87 million, and you see what kind of percent we got last year. There's enough for everybody. Look, there are more people will get a mortgage in 2021 than we protect. We're doing 150,000 clients a year, and our market's getting bigger. Where can you go and find that? And yet most people are going to focus on, well, yeah, I know, but the Americo Premier, well, I know nothing about products, okay, but they want to talk about a product. It ain't about a product, it's about you. I don't care where you are. Because here's what, Jim, do you remember the question? Oh yeah, somebody coming in saying this thing's too hard. You know, it's going to be too hard for a lot of people because they're not willing to put in the work. Because here's what I know. I know that where you are, now we got what, 70 something people on this call. Every single one of you and me are right where you're supposed to be today. Now, ain't that something? See, who you are today, sitting in your chair, who you are got you where you are today. Based on the choices you've made, got you right here. Same with me. Here's the second part that people don't want to accept. That person that you are today can't get you where you want to go. Can't do it. So you got to grow you. You want to go to a different place, you want to go to a bigger place, a better place, then you got to become a bigger, better person. And that's the rub. People don't like change. You know, I don't care if you're trying to lose weight, trying to quit smoking, whatever you're trying to do. It's hard. See, change brings pain. And we don't like pain. We like to avoid pain. And so you got to change here. Nobody comes here prepared for this. Nobody. So if you want to have more, and you could ask 100 people, would you like to have more? 100 people are going to say yeah. They're going to say yeah. So, but here's the problem. If you want to have more, you have to do more. Now, everybody accepts that. Okay, I'm going to do more so I can have more. They accept that. Here's the problem. You can't do more unless you become more. You can't do it. See, if somebody told me, I'll give you $100,000. What's today, the 8th? I'll give you $100,000 if you can do 20 push-ups by the end of July. Now, see, right now I can probably do one, maybe on a good day. But see, if that 100,000 is important enough to me, how many of y'all think I could do whatever it took, whatever training it took to be able to do 20 push-ups by the end of July? Y'all believe I could do that? I probably could. If the 100,000 was important enough to me. See, it all goes back to what you want. What's important to you? Because that's going to determine 100% of the time, it's going to determine what you do. So just doing more is not the answer. If you're doing the wrong thing now and you do more of the wrong thing, it's not going to get you where you want to get. So first of all, you got to find out what the right thing is. Then you got to want to do the right thing. And see, my deal with my team is I tell them all the time, look, go do it wrong until you get it right. And then keep doing it until you can't get it wrong. That's pretty much what this thing is. But see, a lot of people don't want to do it. They don't want to do it till they know everything. Well, let me help you with that. You go ahead and quit now, because you're never going to know everything. And you learn two ways. You can learn by studying, or you can learn by doing. And I would profess that you really need to do most of your learning by doing. Because people study. Look, you can go to the library and read every book they have in a library on swimming and still drown in the bathtub. You got to get in the water to learn how to swim. That's just a fact, okay? I don't make this stuff up. This is a fact. So learn by doing. And are you going to screw up? Absolutely. But you got, a bunch of people that'll help you. The whole team will help you. Even people that don't override you will help you if you'll put in the work. And the only way you're going to put in the work is if you want something bad enough. So back to that, who you are got you where you are. Understand this, that who you are is a result of some things like what you've read, what you've watched, what you listen to, who you listen to. All of this stuff molds you into the person that's sitting in your chair today. So if you want to change yourself, see, it's also who you've associated with, who you've disassociated with, the events you've attended. All of these things have got you where you are today. Same with me. So if you want to change that, what you do is you change what you read, or what you're reading, change what you're watching, change what you're listening to, change who you're listening to for sure. change the events you've attended, and change the amount of time that you have spent on developing you. Because you cannot, look, you cannot build a big business as a small person. You can't do it. It's a law. It's law of gravity again. Can't do it. You want a big business, you got to become a big person. You want to attract big people, you become a big person. And I don't mean big, I mean big in psychologically strong, where you can't get knocked off your game, where stuff doesn't surprise you. See, that's the advantage I have. I'm 114 years old. I've seen everything. I've done everything. I've seen, somebody will come in my office and they'll say, "You're not gonna believe what happened to me last night." Well, yeah, I am. Okay, because it's happened to me or it's happened to somebody else, and here's what I know: it ain't fatal. And number two, this is what I asked them, but they "You're not gonna believe what happened last night." I said, well, "Let me ask you this: whatever it is, can you change it? Can you change what happened last night? Whatever it is." Well, no. Okay, then why are we going to talk about it? See, because I can't help my people change yesterday. And I can't help them change last week or last month. I can't help it. I can't go back and help the fact that their mama didn't like them. I can't change that. What I can change, I can change their tomorrow and their next week and their next month. I can change the rest of their life. I can do that because I have that ability in this company with this opportunity to change lives. I do. And that's what I do. That's why I do calls like this. Look, some of y'all are saying, I don't understand a word he's saying. He talks Cajun. I don't even like the way he talks. I understand that. I don't have a problem with that. Okay. Because there's going to be one or two of y'all, maybe, that take something you hear today and change your life with it. Because this is a business. I'm telling you, the difference between making it and not making it here is microscopic. It's hearing one thing from one person that you repeat to somebody this afternoon, and that person, because of what you said, gets in your business and becomes $1 million a month agency. One thing. So people who are open to learning that one thing, that's why I go to everything. I don't miss anything. Look, I've never been good enough to miss stuff, because I can't afford to let somebody else go to something like an event or a call, a national call or something, and they get something that they use to recruit somebody, and now they're beating my team. I've never been good enough to be able to miss stuff, so I don't miss anything. And you learn stuff even not knowing that you learned something. You look, when I started in insurance, I didn't own a tie. I was awful. But see, I went from awful. I told them up front, I said, there's this was a great interview thing. I said, there's no doubt in my mind that I'm going to fail. This is when I talked to the guy at Primerica after the meeting. There's no doubt in my mind I'm going to fail, but I want to try. And I'll tell you this, if you will help me, if you will show me, I'll put in the work. I promise you, I'll put in the work. Because I'm telling you, work supersedes everything. And that's what they did. That deal about you clean a fish after you catch it. They had a lot of cleaning to do with me, but they did. And I put in the work, and I went from being god awful to being mediocre to being decent to where I am today. And all I am today versus 37 years ago is that I'm psychologically strong. I don't get knocked off my game. I don't get tired because I don't talk to idiots. I talk to who I want to talk to. Okay. I don't talk to just anybody. I don't want just anybody in my agency. I come from an athletic background. I'm huge on chemistry, team chemistry. And it's hard to just take people from all walks of life and just dump them in a bucket and try to make a team out of it. That people do it. I just don't have the pain threshold for that. Okay. So I'm going to go recruit somebody that either I know or my people know. This is how I built my agency. I built my agency because I remember I recruited the two guys with the big old 3-ring binder, a guy outside the coffee shop. And the next day, a guy called me. He was with Primerica. He said, the word on the street is that you're doing something that would be good for me. I had 4 people January 1st of 2007. 4. 2 called me. 1 I ran into outside a coffee shop. 6 months later, I had 100 agents. 100. I still had my 4. I didn't get my 5th person direct to me for 15 months. But see, the way I built my business is I get who I want through who I have. I recruit through my people, because if you want your people to stay, Jim, you can draw your agency out. Okay. You can do a circle, a square, put your name in it, draw a line down and who you have, and draw a line down. They got somebody. And when you get through drawing this thing, You look at it, and every circle you have that doesn't have a line coming down from it with another circle, every person like that doesn't have anybody is going to quit. So take their picture now if you want to remember what they look like, because this is not a money-driven business. This is not a premium-driven business. This is not a lead-driven business or a contract-driven business. This is a promotion-driven business. People will work for a promotion way, way harder than they work for a trophy, for helping you. There's a lot of AOs think they're people going to work for them. Yeah, they're not. You need to work for them. It's my job to work for my people. It's not my people's job to work for me. So what we're looking for are people trying to get promoted, because that's what grows your business, is people trying to get promoted. But they got to know what they want in order to get promoted. That's why we need to hold that in front of them all of the time. And I don't know how I got off on that tangent, but this thing is awesome. Not hard. It's not hard as long as you understand some things, and that you keep what you want in front of you, not what somebody wants for you, or not what somebody thinks you can do. What do you want? You need to spend time with that, and the important people in your life that you can say, this is what I'm going to do because this is what I want. See, I wanted to be an agency manager. When I came here the last week of November 2006. I'm sorry, 2013. It was me, Tom Chisholm. I made Tom Chisholm drive from Tulsa, Oklahoma to Nashville, Tennessee to sit down at a restaurant with Sarah Pappas and just tell him where he went. Because you can't recruit your people when you leave an IMO because you get sued. We got sued anyway, but I say you need to go to Tulsa. You need to go to Nashville and sit down. It's a 10-hour drive. You need to go to Nashville, sit down with Sarah Pappas, tell her where you went. Don't tell her she needs to come. You just tell her where you went. And so he did 10 hours. Sat down in a restaurant with her, and she said, "You left?" He said, "Yeah." She said, "Where'd you go?" And he told her. She said, "Can I go with you?" He said, "Yeah." So we got her, and I had 2 guys down in Louisiana. Look, we had 5. Just to give you a little hint of what y'all have hold of today, there was 5 of us. 3 in Louisiana, 1 in Sarah Pappas in Nashville, and Chisholm in Tulsa. I was the first Symmetry agent in the state of Louisiana, 2013. They had no leads here. Symmetry doesn't mail. They have no agents asking for leads. They had no leads in Louisiana. Had no leads in Oklahoma. Chisholm was the first agent there. But what they did was they found a box under somebody's desk of these leads that were like yellow. They were so old, and they sent us these leads. And we didn't know any better. We didn't know any better. We were fired up to get some leads, and we got on the phone and we called these leads, and we screwed up. We didn't know what we were doing. We didn't know what carrier to write with. We didn't know. But see, we wanted to do well. We wanted to do well. I told Casey, we're coming here to play big. I'm gonna tell you up front, to play big. See, because they had left. They left the other IMO 4 years. I stayed. I didn't know why they left, to tell you the truth, because you can't leave an IMO and then talk to people about coming with, because you'll get they got sued big time. That's why Brandon and Casey were in the field for the first 2 years here. Understand this, new people. Their first month, October of 2009, they wrote $86,000 in premium as a company. 3 owners and Linwood. That's what they had. 4 people. $86,000. They called me. Look, they left that IMO. From a Friday to a Monday, they were gone. I didn't know why. I just knew that I felt like they abandoned their people. I felt like they abandoned me. So I pouted for 4 years. They tried to call me every year for 4 years. I wouldn't even take their call. Took them out of my phone. I showed them. In the 4th year, Brandon called me, left me a message. I told Sandy about it. Once again, here's Sandy Young saving my life. I said, Brandon called me again. She said, you ought to call him back. Well, I hadn't called him in 4 years, but I called him back. Then I talked to him again. Then I talked to him and Casey. Then they flew me out to Greenville, South Carolina. And they showed me, here's what we've done. Look, they'd gone in 4 years to the month. 4 years to the month. They'd gone from writing 86,000 in October of 2009 In October of 13, they were doing $1 million a month. I said, I had a list of questions. My first question was, will your leads get my guys into homes? Because I knew if I knew some of my people would come. I wouldn't recruit them, but I knew they'd find out where I went. I knew they'd come if I came here. And they did. But I need to know if their leads would get my people in homes. My second question was, who's your biggest guy? Now, the only reason I asked that was I want to know what's possible. And at that time, October of 2013, their biggest guy was Edward Pritchett, doing $300,000 a month. Now Edward's doing $3 million a month. So we got all those leads. Our first month, we did 61,000, December of 13. 5 of us, 61,000. Then some of my people from the other IMO found out where we were. They came. In January, we did 212,000 our second month. And people said, man, y'all are good. Well, no, we should be good. We've been doing this for 7 years at a company whose culture was just toxic. You come here, it's like a breath of fresh air because you got owners here. You need to hear this. You got owners here who get up every day and work for us. The equity appreciation rights are for us. You can't go anywhere in the insurance business and get ownership. They're going to give 20% of the value of the company to the home office and the sales force. You can't get that anywhere else. They work for us. Every decision they make is what's best for us. Other companies don't do that. So we did, because this is going to happen to y'all, okay? We did 2.4 million our first year in premium. Nobody's ever done that before their first year. We did 3.6 the second year, 6.8 the third year, and 15.2 the fourth year, and been over 20 million ever since. Now, I say that to say this. Your first year, if you're new, your first year, I think this goes back to your question, Jim. I remember remnants of it, okay? But your first year here is going to be spent learning about you. They're going to put a big old mirror up in front of you, and you're going to find out a lot of stuff about you. A lot of it you might not like you're a weenie, for example, okay? That you want to burst into tears half the time. That all this stuff, you're going to find out about you. The second year, you're going to learn the business. And the third year, you're going to explode. But most people, now look, it can be longer, it can be shorter, depending on, once again, what you read, what you listen to, who you listen to, what you attend, and the time you put in to growing yourself. It's going to depend on that. So we came here. See, we came here full grown. I was full grown. Chisholm was full grown. Pappas was full grown. Tar came here in January. Tar called me because we didn't talk to her because Tar was a superstar at the other company. And I didn't want to get sued. I got sued anyway, but I didn't want to get sued. And Tar called me in January. We'd been here since the end of November. She called me in January and said, you left. I said, I did. She said, you didn't tell me. I said, I couldn't tell you. I had to protect you. I had to protect me. And we talked again the next day. And the third day she called and said, I want to come there. I said, okay. And she came here. Look, it was the end of January of 2014. She showed up. And she was the top personal producer for the year. First year. She made $194,000 here her first year by herself. She personally produced for 2.5 years. She called me after 2.5 years. She said, I want to start building an agency. I said, perfect. She said, my problem is I don't know how. I said, I'm going to help you. And that's what I did. And so she started building an agency. And now she got an agency. She did 14 million last year just because of a decision. But see, she wants to take over the world. She's got a huge want to. And so she'll put in the work. That's what, look, desire drives discipline. What you want determines what you do 100% of the time, 100% of the time. So you need to spend time thinking about what you want because what you have right now is a result of what you've wanted up to this point. That's just another law of gravity. So, well, I've had 2 questions, Jim. I've taken about an hour. You got anything else you want me to talk about? Because I've got stuff now. We can go the rest of the day if y'all wanted to, but I got Ben Safetyport coming down here. He's going to spend 3 days with me. He thinks it's going to be a lot of fun. He doesn't know what he's coming into here because we're gonna do some deep dive into getting him to 120. So
there it is.
Anything else, Jim, you want to ask me? Because it's up to y'all. I can go forever. Y'all can start hanging up. I don't care. That happens on every call I'm on. People just hang up.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
mean, they're
won't
just
take it
gonna,
personally.
I mean, Danny, they're just gonna lose out on the insight. So that's, kind of their issue. So, um, you know,
Jimbo,
yes,
can I ask a question? This is Alex in the airport.
sure, go
Sure.
ahead.
Danny, how are you, man? First off, thank you so much.
Hey, I'm doing
And,
great. I'm doing
and I
great.
hope,
Hey, look, I got up this morning, my feet hit the floor and my head didn't follow. So that's a good day. You know what I mean?
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Alex Jackson to Jim Rustman and best friend and upline and just blessed, man. My question for you is for the new folks that might be being like questioning whether or not they should or can they afford, quote unquote, to go to this upcoming conference we have coming up in about 6 weeks. To the folks, I want you to, if you would, Danny, talk to the folks that are asking themselves or telling themselves that question or that mindset. What would you tell them if they were brand new in your agency and you've got a conference with, again, the Pathos organization coming up in 6 weeks, if they're questioning whether or not they can or should afford to go?
Well, the reality is you can't afford not to go. I mean, it's just, and here's why. Nobody, Symmetry 11 years old, nobody has ever won here not going to conference. Nobody. Now you may be the first, your guy may be the first. Okay. I wouldn't take that chance. I've had people go to something that they could not afford, change their life. Because if you see, here's what I know. I know that if you don't go, you're going to be the same person that you were the day of the conference. If you do go, it could change your life. See, how many chances do you think you get in your 80, 90 years on earth? How many chances do you think you get to change your life? See, what you don't want is you don't want opportunity knocking on your front door and you're out in the backyard looking for a 4-leaf clover and you miss it. See, how many times you think opportunity is going to knock on your front door? I just never was good enough to take that chance. So I've had people go to conference and they've got, 15 in a room. They eat Ritz crackers for 3 days or whatever. But I promise you this, I will promise you this. If you go, you'll be glad you went. You'd be so glad you went, because there's story after story after story of people that go to conference, their first conference, their second conference, whatever. Because once again, the difference between winning and losing is microscopic. See, because everything you go to, every call you get on gives you a piece to your puzzle that you're trying to put together. And if you don't go to a conference, you don't get that piece. And look, you may get it at the next conference. You probably won't be here for the next conference. Or you may never get it, or you want to take a chance on never getting the piece to your puzzle that changes your family's life forever. Look, this is big stuff here. This is not some kind of, hey, if you come here, we'll show you how to sell more makeup or something. That ain't like this at all. This is life-changing stuff. Look, I built in three years. I've been here 7.5, but I built in 3 years the foundation of an agency that's going to determine in large part how my grandchildren's grandchildren get to live. Now, that may not mean anything to any of y'all. That means an awful lot to me in San Diego. But see, I went to everything. I still go to everything. Look, Marshall and Edward, Smith brothers, Delaney, they don't go to conference because they have become successful. They are successful because they have been going to conference. Now, I've been to 2 or 3 a year now for 7 years. Was it 20 something? I can't afford to miss it. How can I let somebody else go to conference and get something they're going to use to beat me with? That ain't going to happen. I'm going. But see, because I got people there. So if you want to get more people, and look here, Alex, here to answer your question, this is going to sound kind of harsh probably. If somebody you recruit, if you're going to spend all your time trying to figure out how to get this person to do something, I'm going to save some of y'all hundreds and hundreds of thousands of hours of frustration right here, okay? Your job is not to get somebody else to do something. Your job is to get you to do something. And then you go recruit people who can get themselves to do something. We spend so much energy on people that can't get themselves to do anything. And we think we can change people. You know, you think you can teach a pig to sing. You cannot. Pig's not going to learn how to sing, and you're going to stay frustrated. Go find somebody that can sing, dude. So if somebody doesn't want to go to conference, see, because my message to my team is you don't have to go. But I promise you this, we work with people. See, we help people who are trying to help themselves. And you go to conference because you're trying to help yourself. Now, if you can't go to conference, you can't try to help yourself. Why would you expect us to try to help you? I mean, I've got the same 24 hours a day that y'all have. I've got to decide my biggest decision every day. You're an AO, Jim, your biggest decision every day is who gets your time, because you only got so much. And every minute that you give to the wrong person is a minute that you stole from the right person. You can't afford to do that. You don't have enough time. So, you know, Alex, here's what I know about conference. The right people will be there. The ones that you're going to win with will be there, because you cannot win with people that don't want to win. And people that don't go to conference don't want to win. They say whatever they want to say. They don't want to win. If it was important enough, look, if you were to give everybody that goes to conference, if you were to give them $10,000 when they get there, do you think more people would go to conference? Probably so.
Yes, sir. Yes.
See, but conference is worth way more than 10,000. They just can't see it yet. So what you do is, because there's only three things you do with your people, Alex, and this covers everything. Okay, you expose them to all materials. They come out with a new product. They come out with a new thing. Say they got a new book of the month. You expose them to it. You can't make them use it. Can't make them read it. Whatever. But you be excited about it. Second thing is you expose them to all events. We're having a conference. We're having a conference call. We're having a Zoom. We're having this. We're having that. You be excited about it. You be excited about them being on it, being present, but you can't make them get on it. And the third thing you do is you set an example. You want your people to make money, you make money. You want to recruit, you recruit. You want them to go to conference, you go to conference. That's all you can do for people, those three things. Materials, events, set an example. That's it. So, you know, you'd like them all to go. They're not all going to go. The ones that don't go are going to fail. Just realize that up front. They're going to fail. And you just do your best selling the conference, the importance of it, the fact that nobody's ever won without going. And if you're going to be there, you're going to be fired up. You hope to see them there. And if they don't think they can afford to, you can get them in a room with another 13 people.
100%. Yep.
So Jim, can I ask a question?
Yeah, let me ask this question real quick. And then Karen, you can go. So Danny, what is your biggest piece of advice for a new agent coming into this business, and what's the most important part?
Well, what I tell them is stay plugged in, because people come here, they're all excited. You are as excited when you start, and then all of a sudden you start doing well. Typically, you're all excited, and then a lot of times your upline will back up like a 12-yard dump truck of stuff to do and dump it on you. Get on this, get on this, get on this, get on this, and all of a sudden it starts feeling like a job for people. I don't do that. What I do for new people, here's what I want people to do. If they don't have a license, I want them to get their license as soon as possible. You can't get paid till you get a license. You got to be legal. And so I want you to get through pre-license as soon as you can. And as soon as you get through it and pass your test, I want you to forget everything you learned. Okay. But I also want, by the time you get out of pre-license, I want to have 2 or 3 people recruited to your team, because I want to get you promoted as soon as possible. See, I'm talking promotion from the day one. You started at 70, I want you at 75. Why in the world would you work for 70 when you could work for 75 or 80 or 85 or 90? So I'm selling the crap out of getting promoted, because I know that's what keeps people excited. See, that's out there in front of them a little bit. They can't think about being an agency owner. They can't think about being a equity partner. They can't think about that stuff. It's too far out. But they can think about going from 70 to 75 and 75 to 80. So I want to get them somebody almost immediately. That's also going to keep their excitement level up, because now, Jim, this little boy you just had, is this your first or not?
No, it's our third
one. Hey, how long ago was the first one?
9 years ago.
Okay. That day was a life-changing day. Everything that y'all had done up to that point changed. Now the entire focus is that baby. Can't do for itself. You have to do everything for it. Same thing here. See, you get a new person, it's a life-changing event. Now they got somebody they're responsible for. And we don't do that. What we do, we get a new person, we say, get some leads, make some dials, go out and make some sales for me. I don't do that. I want them to have somebody because I want them to stay. If they don't have anybody, they're going to quit. That's how I built my team. And so I forget what this question was, to tell you the truth. I really did forget this one. But a new person. I'm talking to a new person always, not about today. I'm talking to a new person about what it's going to look like. We get you 3 or 4 people. We get you in an override position. We get you in a place where you're going to make money when somebody else works. For the first time of your life, you're going to get paid when somebody else works, but you're going to help those people become successful. We get paid overrides to help people succeed, not to fail. And so I talk to them about that. I don't talk to them about how great this new Forrester's product is. That doesn't matter. That won't get them through the tough times. This out here will get them through the tough times. I want them to keep their eyes on the prize, their prize, not my prize, their prize. And if they do that, they won't notice all the distractions and all the obstacles. But if you let them focus on today, all they're going to see is distractions and obstacles. So I want them to stay plugged in. If they plug into the calls, if they plug into their upline, if they stay plugged into all the stuff that's out there for you, it's like a lamp. You know, you unplug a lamp, it goes out. Same thing with here. If you unplug here, you're going to go out. That's just the way it is. So I want to keep them, and we stay in constant contact with new people, because new people are the ones, 2 things. They're the ones that are going to grow your business. The excitement comes from the bottom, Jim. It comes from the bottom. The new people bring the excitement to your team. See, you got old dogs. Old dogs won't get out of, they won't move off the floor in front of the door so you can go outside. Puppies are just peeing on everything. They're running all around. You need a whole bunch of puppies. And so that's the first thing. But secondly, they're also the ones that if you don't pay attention to them, they'll evaporate. They'll be here today, gone tomorrow. You don't want that. So your team has to be a blend of your veterans that you don't have to worry about, that you know they're out there working, and new people that you're just trying to figure out where in the world, where are they now? Where'd they go? You know, so it's a constant struggle, but it's so worth it. It's unbelievable because you have the chance to change these people's lives, but you got to keep them around. See, every acorn has an oak tree inside of it. Every acorn, every person that comes here has the ability to win here. We have to keep them around long enough to get what's inside of them out of them.
So Danny, Karen Young, I'm sorry, Karen Young.
I like your last name, by the way.
My last name, Reed?
Yeah, I think we may be relatives. That's my last name also.
Your last name is Reed? No, I'm Karen Reed.
I thought you said Karen Young. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I don't know why I
saw Karen
said
Young
that.
pop up. My bad. I'll change my name.
I was reading Karen Young's post. Karen Reed, AO, direct to Jim Russman. You really kind of touched on what I was going to ask. You have built your team primarily through warm market, correct?
Correct.
So how did you get your people to bring you people? What did you tell them to say to get their people interested? And then what did you say to those people once you talked to them?
Oh, it's an awesome question. And let me tell you why I do warm market. It's because I'm better at that. I'm better talking to people I know or people you know, if I know you. I'm not good at talking to somebody 3,000 miles away that doesn't know me. I don't know them, which means that there's no trust. And your business here is going to run at the speed of trust. If they don't trust me, they're not going to listen to me. It's just harder for me. Okay. Now there are people that built. I mean, Marshall built massive agency, a lot bigger than mine. Cold market. Once again, I don't have the pain threshold. Okay. I don't have. And plus, I'm 114 years old. I don't have time. I don't have time to take 8 months to build trust with somebody I don't know. Does that make sense? And so I would rather start with trust. And I do that by talking to people I know or talking to people that you know. Because and so here's how we do it. If I get a new person, I'm going to ask that person 2 questions. The first question is, do you want to just produce here or do you want to build? Because some people want to come here and make $500 a month, just go out and sell a policy a month, something like that. So I want to know, do you want to produce, or do you want to build an agency that you can own, that stays in your family for generations? I don't care which ones they pick. I don't care. If they just want to produce, they can. I'm going to help them do that. I'm going to give them to somebody in my bay shop, and they're going to help them and all that. And I'm not going to mess with them at all. But if they want to build, they tell me they want to build. Okay. Here's my second question. Let's talk about who you want to build with. See, because what I look for when I'm out recruiting, I look for people that are good people. I don't look for salespeople at all. I don't look for really smart people at all, because this is too simple for really smart people. They want it to be more complex. I'm simple, and so I don't look for producers. I have a lot of producers, but I don't look for them. But I know that I look for good people. I look for people that want more and are willing to put in more to get it. I want stable people. I want people that would just like to have extra so they can take a deep breath every month. I love part-time people. I got lots of part-time people because I can fish in a much bigger pond with part-time people, because I can recruit the real estate people and the pastors and the teachers and the cops. I can recruit these kind of people that aren't going to quit their job to come try this. In today's world, you talk to a lot of people who don't have a job, and a lot of times they come here desperate. They want to make money, right? Like do something today and get paid today. This thing doesn't work that way. So that's my second question. Who do you want to build with? Because I know that every good person knows good people. I know that every successful person knows successful people, because you hang with people pretty much like you. And so when I find somebody like that, I ask them, who do you want to build with? And who would you like to be in business with? And they may give me 2 or 3, 4, 5 people. We talk about that. And I say, well, here's what we'll do. We're going to send them 2 videos, 14 minutes total. One of them is a video of the company they put out. It's like 10 minutes. It doesn't mention money really at all. It's really kind of an old video. It starts with Ben and Sarah Safety Board sitting on the couch talking, and then Brandon Case, and they got a lot of our people. Because here's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for people who are attracted to our people. See, I'm not looking for people who are attracted to what I drive or what I live in. I'm looking for people who are attracted to our people, because that's who's going to do the best. And so we'll send 2 videos, that one, and then there's a 4-minute video of me that they took at one of the conferences 3 or 4 years ago. And we will email those videos to, I don't care, 2 or 3 people, 50 people, doesn't matter, it's up to them. And then I get my new person to text those people and say, look, I just sent you 2 videos, 14 minutes total. When you get a chance, take a look at them. It's a company I just went to work with part-time. I'm trying to make $1,000 a month extra so I can pay tuition or go on vacation, whatever you want to say. Take a look at it, see if there's anything you see that you like. If you do, we'll have a 3-way call, me, you, and the man that I'm working with. And that's what we do. We send those videos out, and then we wait to see who responds back. We don't call them every day and harass them about watching it, because I'm looking for people that 2 things. I'm looking for people that those 2 videos resonate with, because they find the kind of people I'm looking for. Then I can find everybody, because some people look at me and say, well, they didn't spend an hour and a half on training. I don't want to do that. So they don't find those people, but they find the kind of people that those videos resonate with, and they find that this is critical. They find people whose timing is right in their life to do something like this. See, a lot of y'all have interviewed people and everything sounds great, but the time is not right in their life. They may have just gone through a divorce, or somebody in the family may have died, or something traumatic, whatever, but the time is not right. These videos find those people that it resonates with and those people whose time is right. So we send those out. The Smith brothers said on a call a few months back that when they got here, they sent an email out to 100 of their friends about what they were doing, and that what they have today, 7 years later, 80% of what they have today came from those 100 emails. Just saying. So that's how we do it. And here's what it does. It keeps, because a lot of people that want to recruit warm market tell the new recruit, look, give me a list and I'll call, which you don't do. Or they tell the new recruit to call their friends and tell them. And so they'll call 2 friends, and one of them will say, you sound stupid. You're a pipe fitter. Your daddy was a pipe fitter. Your grandfather was a pipe fitter. And now you talk about insurance. You sound stupid. That person is never going to call another person again. So I protect them from that. They don't have to talk to anybody. I'm going to use their credibility and my expertise to find the people who are looking for us. That's the key. I look for people who are looking for us. They just don't know we exist. So that's how we do it. And you can send those videos out every day, every day, every day. And they'll find people for you.
Hey, Danny.
Yes, sir.
This is Mark Hamelman. I'm Director Melissa Weigel.
It's like dying and going to heaven, isn't it, Mark?
No, it's a good thing.
That's what I mean.
My question for you is, we get mostly untied, especially early on as we're recruiting more and more, when we're early and recruiting more and more with our warm market about how we get, how we feel about them if they don't quite make it or don't live up to our expectations or their expectations for what they were seeing. How did you handle that early on when you had to kind of let people cut loose and just because it just wasn't their thing or whatever reason? How did you handle that early on, and how do you do that now?
Well, you know, people are going to win and people are going to lose. I'm going to do my part. See, I'm going to do for them. I'm going to get up every day and I'm going to do for them. And if they don't do their part and they fail, that's on them. See, I don't take credit for anybody failing. I don't take credit for anybody succeeding. What I'm going to do is my part. And if they do their part, they're going to win. If they'll come here, they'll work the system. They're coachable. They have a work ethic. They have a good attitude. They're going to win. 100% of the time, they're going to win. But if they fail, I don't take any responsibility for their failure because I did my part. We just put them in the system. If they work the system, they win. Plain and simple. And we talk about that all the time. So, but what I don't do is I don't beg and I don't try. I'm not in the convincing business. Okay. If I've got to convince somebody to go to conference because it could save their family forever, or if you know, I can't get them on, I can't get them to get on my Sunday night call. They can't dial on Saturday because, you know, that Saturday, they've always cut grass on Saturday, so they can't dial on Saturday morning. Well, your grass don't know it's Saturday. I promise you that. Okay. But if they have all this kind of stuff, I don't have a cure for that. Once again, I'm looking for people. I'm looking for people that can work the system, that can make themselves work. That's all you got to do here. Can you work with people and can you make yourself work? Two things and you win. Two. If they don't want to do those two things, then look, Sears, I don't know if Sears is hiring. I think they're going out of business, but they need a job. Go get a job. I don't worry about people quitting because here's what I know, Mark. I know that players never quit. You can't run a player off. I was raised in athletics. You cannot run a player off. So don't worry about it is what I'm saying. What you can't do is you can't let somebody who's given up on their dreams affect your dream. As long as you do your part, man, you're good.
Fantastic. Thank you, Danny, for that.
100%.
Jim, we can quit anytime you want. I know I was supposed to have 30 minutes and this is way over. So we can say goodnight anytime you want to, man. Not gonna hurt my feelings.
All right. Well, let's do one last question. I've got to jump off at 10:30 for a interview, but if you had to choose one core value, Danny, what do you think would bring the most value to someone and why?
Far and away the first one. People matter. Relationships matter. People come first. This is, look, I have built my business a brick at a time. And the thing that keeps the mortar that keeps the bricks together is the relationships you build with your people. See, your people need to know if they get on your bus, they're going to wind up at a better place than they're headed. They have to know that. And it's got to be every day. You can't be an emotional yo-yo and expect to build a team. Your people, see, because people aren't attracted, I don't think, people aren't attracted to money. They're not attracted to fame. What they're attracted to here is strength. They want to know if they throw in with you, they're going to be okay. And that's an everyday effort. You can't be in the game today and not in the game tomorrow. You can't be on top of the world today and on top of a bridge tomorrow. You can't do that. So that's what you have to be. That's why you got to get psychologically strong so that a lot of other people can plug into you. And it's all about the relationships that you build with people. And it needs to be sincere. You know, I get up every day, and look, here's one thing I don't do. I don't spend 2 seconds worried about what I can do for Brandon and Casey and Brian at all. It's not my job. It's their job to get up every day and say, what can we do today to help Danny's business? And so that's the way I want my people. I don't spend time looking at Marshall. I don't spend time looking at Edward. I don't care what they're doing. What they're doing works for them. It won't work for me. I've got to find, and same thing with you, Jim. You, Melissa, the same way. Mark, same way. Y'all have to find what works for you. And just because it works for Melissa, Mark, doesn't mean it's going to work for you. Okay. Melissa's way, when that's what we're all on this journey for, is to try to find what works for you. I found what works for me years ago. And that's all I do. You will not catch me doing anything that doesn't work for me. And so you find what works for you and do just that. And that will grow your team brick at a time, brick at a time, brick at a time, brick at a time. And that mortar is the relationships. We work for our people. I get up every day and I got to find out what I can do for somebody today. That's one of the 5 things I do every day is I do something for somebody else every day of my life. Because we do that gives you a feeling of satisfaction, makes you feel good doing something for somebody else. And we get to do that. You know, if you're a personal producer, you get to do that every day. You fix somebody's financial problems every day. It's pretty cool stuff. But I by far and away, it's core value number 1. Relationships matter. I just love helping people, being around people, watching people grow, seeing the success they have. When Ashley Tarr, when I met her, she's eating cereal twice a day for her meals because she was so broke. And here we are. I've known her now 10 years, maybe 9.5, making 60, 70,000 a month. And see, I didn't do that, but I had a little bitty part in that. And that's pretty cool to watch. Okay. So that's it.
Awesome, man. I thank you and I appreciate your time. I'm sure Melissa does. And we all do. So we'd love to have you back. And you know, if anybody hasn't seen Danny's video in the, I think you did that. I think maybe your first or second year here. Everybody needs to watch that and watch some of the videos, the webinars that he's done on the national call. They're extremely amazing. And I appreciate your time, Danny.
All right, buddy. I appreciate you. Let's go take over the world. Okay.
100%. Thank you.
All right, guys. See y'all.